Hey everyone, and welcome to another Python project tutorial. In this project, we will build a logistic regression model to predict whether a student will pass or fail based on study hours, attendance, and previous scores. This is a classification problem where the output is either pass or fail, or you can say 1 or 0. Before writing the code, let me show you what the output will look like. So this right here is our raw CSV file where we have a raw data of 50 students. Now when I run the program, you can see this confusion matrix on the screen. So this figure shows how well our model predicts student pass or fail results. On the y-axis, we have the actual results, and on the x-axis, we have the predicted results. The color gradient from light or dark blue represents the number of students, right? And darker color means more correct predictions. So in this matrix, you can see top left 3, which means 3 students were correctly predicted as fail. And bottom right 7 means 7 students were correctly predicted as pass. The zeros mean the model made no wrong prediction in those cases. And this tells us that the model is performing very well. Below this, we can also see the classification report, the confusion matrix values, and the model evaluation results, which give us more detailed performance statistics, right? Now that we understand the output, let's begin with the code. So first I will create a separate folder for this project and I will name it as Logistic Regression, and then inside of this folder I will create here a CSV file first and I will name it as student underscore performance.csv, and then I have pasted the data of 50 students. Now let me explain this CSV file to you. Here we have student ID, which means a unique ID assigned to each student like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Then we have study hours, which means number of hours the student studies. Then we have attendance, which is percentage of classes attended by the student. Then we have previous score, which means marks obtained in the previous exam. And then we have result, which means final outcome, where 1 means pass and 0 means fail. So this is our CSV file and I will press Ctrl S button to save it. Then I will create a Python project file and name it student underscore pass underscore fail underscore predictor.py. And then I will first write the title name of this project. So I'm giving a title name, project title, student pass fail predictor, and I'm writing this as a comment. Now we will be writing this complete code in 8 easy steps, and the first step is going to be import the libraries. We will be writing this complete code in 8 easy steps, and I will basically copy this format and write it over here. Step 1, that is import libraries. So first library is going to be pandas, and pandas is used to load, clean and manage the CSV file. The next library is going to be matplotlib.pyplot, which is used to create basic plots and visualizations, right? Then we have Seaborn. It is used to create cleaner and more attractive visualization. Then from sklearn, we will import train test ciplet. It will basically split the data into training and testing sets. After that, from sklearn, we will import standard scaler. This will scale numerical features so they are on the same range. Then from sklearn, we import logistic regression. It will be used to build a classification model for pass or fail prediction. Then from sklearn, we will import accuracy score. It measures how many predictions were correct, right? And then from sklearn, we import confusion matrix. It will show correct and incorrect predictions in the metric form. And then we will import classification report, and this will give precision, recall and F1 score for the model. So these are all required libraries we will be using in this project. And finally, I'm writing here sns.set underscore style and I'm setting it to white grid. This basically applies a clean grid style to all the plots. So this basically complete our step number 1, and moving on to our step number 2, that is load raw data. So I'm writing this as a comment. So first I will be writing the file path. and I'm writing here R. This will ensure the path is read correctly. I will copy the path of the CSV file and paste inside of the inverted commas. And then in order to load the CSV file, I'm writing here pd.read CSV file, and I'm using the same variable which has basically the path of the CSV file. After loading the file, I want to have a quick preview of the data. For that, I'm printing here initial data, and for this purpose, I am using here df.head. This will basically print the first 5 rows of the data. Then in order to display the info, I'm using here df.info. This will basically show column name, data types and missing values. And finally, in order to visualize the statistical summary, for example, mean, standard deviation, etc. for the numeric columns, I am using df.describe. This is basically our step number 2, and I am using here run without debugging. And it is because I just want to execute the program and see the output without stepping through the code. And here is our output. As you can see it from here, this right here is our initial data. This shows the first 5 rows, and as you can see it from here as well. And then moving further, we have this data info. So this basically shows that our program has the total of 50 entries. So we have a total of 50 entries right here. As you can see it from here, the first row is basically heading, and then it shows we have a total of 5 number of columns. So we have a total of 5 number of columns. This is correct, and these are the details of the columns, and these are basically the data types of the columns. And then we have the statistical summary, and we have got this from df.describe. Basically this shows standard deviation, mean, max, etc. So here we are done with our step number 2, and now moving on to our step number 3. So I'm writing this as a comment, and that is handle missing values. So sometime it happened to us that we have some values missing. So as you can see it from here, this is our CSV file, and I will remove few of the items, and I will make sure that I'm not removing the commas. I'm just removing the value from some of the columns so that we can have some missing data. This one, and removing this one, and then I will press the Ctrl S button to make sure that the CSV file is saved. Since we have only numeric columns in our CSV file, so I'm writing here numeric columns, and I am removing student ID, which is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can say the serial number. And then I am writing here inverted commas, so they are considered as a list. So the basic logic is, if anything is missing, I will be replacing that missing value with the average value of that column. So I will be using a for loop here so that I can loop through the numeric columns, and if any value is missing, it should be filled with the mean or average value. So that's why I've written here df call dot mean, and in place is equal to true means the missing values are filled directly in the original data frame without creating a new copy. And this complete our step number 3, and now let's move on to our step number 4, which is basically split features and target. So first let's talk about the input features. So if I go into the CSV file, so result and the student ID should not be the part of input features. And it is because the student ID is just an identifier and the result is the target, or you can say it should be the Y value. So I will be removing the student ID and the target from the X. Basically I will paste all the column and remove the rest, and I will keep only the student ID and the result here. So df.drop will basically drop these two columns from the X. So we are done with our input features, and now moving on to our target variable, which is Y. So I'm writing here df result, and this select the target variable that model will try to predict. And then moving on to train test split. So here we will basically divide the data in two parts. So part 1 is basically training and the second one is testing. So I am dividing X into two, X train and X test, and similarly Y train and Y test. And then I am calling train test split. So inside of the parentheses I am using X comma Y, and then I will define test size is equal to 0.2, which basically means that data will be split into 80% training and 20% testing. Then random state is equal to 42 will simply ensure the split is same every time we run the code. And that complete our step number 4, and moving on to our step number 5, that is feature scaling. The purpose of feature scaling is that all input features, or you can say all x values, are on the same range. For example, our study hours has values from like 5, 6, 3, 2, and attendance has 90. If we don't scale, the attendance will dominate, right? So scaling bring both to a same range like 0 or 1. So neither dominates the model. Now let's do the feature scaling. So first I create here a scaler using standard scaler, which we have imported here in our first step. This will simply standardize the features and scale them to have a similar range. Next I'm writing here x underscore train underscore scaled. Here I am scaling the training data with scalar.fit underscore transform. This calculates the mean and standard deviation from the training set and applies scaling, right? And for the test data, I will use scalar.transform. And to scale it, I will use the same values from the training data so the model sees both sets on the same scale. And inside the parentheses I will be using x underscore test, right? So here we are basically done with our step number 5, and now moving on to the step number 6, and here we will train a logistic regression model to predict whether a student will pass or fail based on the input features. So first I will be writing model is equal to logistic regression. So this logistic regression we have imported in our step number 1. So this will create a logistic regression model object that can be trained on the data. And then I will basically train this model. For that I'm writing model.fit, and inside of the parentheses I will be using the scaled input feature, which is x underscore train, and the corresponding target value, which is basically y train. So we have created this model and now we have to predict the results. For that I'm writing here comment prediction. So in order to predict the results, we have to use model.predict, and inside of the parentheses, I will be using x underscore test underscore scaled. We use this because the test data also needs to be on the same scale as the training data. So here we are done with our step number 6, and now moving on to the step number 7, where we will evaluate our logistic regression model. So first we will be evaluating the accuracy of the model, right? And we will be using accuracy score for that purpose, and accuracy score we have imported in our step 1 importing libraries, right? So we will be writing inside of the parameters y underscore test and y underscore pred. So y test have basically the actual values and y pred have the predicted values. So we will get the percentage of overall accuracy from here. We will pass the same two arguments y-test and y-pred in the confusion matrix as well. And this right here is the confusion matrix which we have imported in our first step while importing the libraries. So we will import the same two arguments here, y-test and y-pred. So this will create a confusion matrix and it will show true positive, true negative, false positive and false negative, which I will show you while we run this program. So now let's print these values for accuracy and confusion. For that, first I'm writing here model evaluation first. So this will be printed first, and then I want to display the accuracy. So let's print the accuracy by using the f string. Inside of the curly brackets I'm writing accuracy and round off to 2 figures, and same for the CM, or you can say confusion matrix. I will remove this entirely and print CM, and finally we will be printing the classification report as well, and this will show the detailed metrics like precision, recall and F1 score for each class. So I will be simply writing here classification report. Inside of the parentheses I will be calling the same two arguments y-test and y-pred here. And here I will make a simple addition, x is equal to 1, so that the changes are applied column wise. And now let's run this program in order to test the model evaluation. So here we have the results. So first here you can see the model evaluation. So it shows accuracy is equal to 1.00. This means 100% accuracy, and it means that the model predicted all the test samples correctly inside our CSV file. Then next is confusion matrix, and it shows 3007. So the top left shows 3. This is the true negative, and it means that the 3 students who actually failed were correctly predicted as fail. And then we have top right, which is 0, and this is false positive. So 0 students were incorrectly predicted as pass when they actually failed. And then we have bottom left, it is also 0, and it is basically false negative, which means that 0 students were incorrectly predicted as fail when they actually pass. And then we have bottom right, this is 7. So this is basically true positive. 7 students who actually passed were correctly predicted as pass. And then we have the classification report. So first you can see here precision. So it means how many predicted positives are actually positive. So here it is 1.0 for both classes. Then we have recall, and it is how many actual positives were correctly predicted. So it is also 1.00 for both classes. Then we have F1 score, and it is also 1.00. Then we have support, which is number of actual samples in each class, and this is 3 fail and 7 pass. And then we have macro average and weighted average. So this is also 1.00. As I have described previously, that 1.00 basically means 100%, and basically this concludes that the model perfectly predicted all student pass or fail outcomes in this test set. So that conclude our step number 7, and now moving on to final step, that is step number 8, which is visualization. So I'm writing this as a comment. Visualize confusion matrix. And for plot, we use matplotlib, which we have imported here in our first step. So first we need to define the size of the figure. So that's why I'm writing plt.figure, and the size of the figure is equal to 6,4, right? And then we have to plot the confusion matrix as a heat map. And for that purpose, we are using the Seaborn library, which we have imported in our step number 1. So first is CM, which is the confusion matrix. And then we will define some parameters for this heat map, like anode is equal to true, basically shows the numbers in each cell. FMT is equal to D, basically formats number as integers. Then CMAP is equal to blue, uses a blue gradient to highlight higher values. And then X and Y labels, these are basically the label for axis, like pass and fail. So for y-axis the same. Okay, then next we need to define the the label for the x-axis. For that purpose we are using plt.x label, and it is predicted, and for y label it is actual. Then we have to define the title of this plot, and that is confusion matrix student pass slash fail. And then to adjust the spacing, or you can say to prevent overlapping, I'm writing plt.layout, and to show I'm writing plt.show. On running this program, we will be displayed this figure that we have just created by using the matplotlib and the Seaborn. And these are the results that I have explained you earlier. So that concludes this project, guys. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.